You know that El Al was, since the establishment of the state of Israel, El Al was born about the same time, and El Al is also celebrating 60 years. But El Al in Israel, it's one thing, and Ofer will talk about it a little later. But every project in Israel, bringing immigrants from all over the world, in wartime, everything, El Al was always involved with those projects. And a nice story is when we had the Mivtza Shlomo project, when we brought the people from Ethiopia. We've taken on one of the jumbo 1,002 passengers on one flight.
1,000 passengers?
1,002. It's important, the 2 is important, because when we landed, there were 1,004. 2 were born on the flight. So this tells you what El Al is all about. El Al is part of the Israeli family, and as I always say, El Al carry the Israeli flag. You know, our airplanes are painted the Israeli way every day to 50 different locations around the world. So El Al is Israel, and Israel is El Al.
Yeah, just to enhance this notion, basically there is no project, either Israeli or Jewish project in the USA that El Al is not involved in. Starting from missions of the federations, part of them on our regular flights, part of them they lease full aircraft. For example, the Chicago Federation is going to do that this year, the Detroit Federation is going to do. Each of them is leasing full jumbo. We put the jumbo with all the security, with everything else that is needed in order to schedule from those airports. And we move them directly to Israel and then back after several days from Israel back to the same destination without even going via New York or any other destination in the States. And of course, to complete it with projects like the GA of all the Jewish Federation of the UJC, we are going to take around between 3,000 and 4,000 delegates next or this coming November from the States all over to Israel just for the GA and the Lion of Judah conference that they've got there. All of it is done by El Al. So they approach us naturally when there is any project, and we go a very long way to accommodate in any way possible in order to take care of all those missions, all those projects in a way that no other airline could even dream of doing.
Do you see the mission of El Al as more than only business?
Oh yeah, El Al is not only a business, you know, from what you just heard. El Al is the only airline that knows how to adapt itself to the special requests. When Ofer talking about taking a jumbo to fly to Chicago, you take an airplane like this out of the schedule, it's not an easy task to overcome this problem. But we always do it, and we believe that it's true that El Al is a private company and we would like to make money like every other business, but Israel always comes first. And that's what we do, that's El Al, period.
How has the Zionist mission factored into how you perceive your business?
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing that El Al is the bridge between Israel and the rest of the world. As we all know, you know, there's no way you can get to Israel on ground. I mean, there's no roads or railroads, and ships don't carry any more passengers and everything. So we are the bridge between Israel and the rest of the world. And not only this, I think that part of the success of the globalization of the Israeli economy is because of El Al doing and providing this bridge for business people to come to Israel and Israeli business people to go overseas. And North America is, of course, one of these destinations.
If I may add, when times are peaceful, a lot of other airlines fly to Israel, a lot of other airlines starting new flights to Israel and so forth. But we all have to remember that when sometimes, unfortunately, the situation or the atmosphere in Israel change, a lot of those airlines cease their operation by midnight or within a day. And El Al was the only carrier that didn't miss a flight for any of this consideration. El Al continued to fly through all the wars of Israel, all the tension periods, and never ceased this operation because of such occasions.
El Al never, the manager said, El Al never cancelled even one flight since its establishment 60 years ago, and we are proud in that. And just last year, during the Lebanon war, El Al continued providing all the service for passengers, as well as helping our defense forces. And you have to remember that our pilots, most of them are also flying in the Israeli Air Force. So sometimes they used to fly jumbo to New York, come back, sleep a few hours, and go and fly a fighter to the area of the war, come back, rest, take a flight. So we are part of Israel. El Al is Israel. What can you do?
How do you find you're received now internationally? Obviously, how old is the airline?
And 60 years.
Airline 60 years.
Yeah, 60 years. El Al, I think it's received pretty good. I think that if you talk about our industry, the industry respects our capabilities. Our capabilities, first of all, of operation, flying the aircraft and everything. I think that we have maybe the best pilots in the world. More than 90%, even more than that, are graduates of the Israeli Air Force. So they come from a very, very good school. But we're very good in maintenance, we're very good in security. Also, I think, leading the industry in terms of security. Unfortunately, we had to be the first one dealing with it. So we're very professional. Then I think the world also learned to see that since El Al was privatized, that we also know how to run business for profit. It's not a dirty world. It's an important world, and we feel good in the industry around the world.
The major signs how the industry looks at El Al is the upcoming codeshare agreement with American Airlines. Still the biggest, the largest airline in the world, and actually one of the best, which decided to announce with us a huge codeshare agreement. I think the biggest that El Al had ever had with some other airlines, but I think it's nevertheless one of the biggest that American Airlines had with any other airline. And one should see the kind of professional relationship that developed there to understand how such a management of such an airline looks at El Al as an equal partner to deal with in such a manner.
Would you say for flyers or travelers who are looking to go beyond Israel that El Al is now considered a primary consideration?
As you know, a few years ago, a new terminal, a beautiful terminal, was built or was opened in Israel, in Ben Gurion Airport, which is our international airport. And as you know, El Al is flying beside North America and Europe. We're also flying to Southeast Asia. We fly to South Africa. So slowly by slowly, El Al is turning Ben Gurion Airport into a hub that you can fly from. Let's say if you want to fly from New York to Mumbai, you fly to Tel Aviv, you stop for 1 hour and you continue to Mumbai, and you are there, and you can get from North America to Beijing, you can get from North America to Hong Kong, Bangkok, South Africa, and as Ofer said, now no agreement with the American Airlines will even give more possibilities, more alternatives for people to travel around the world. Part of it is El Al, part of it is American Airlines. we believe in cooperation, and that's one of it.
Would you address the question of multiculturalism and diversity from an El Al's perspective, both from an employee and a passenger ship?
Well, I can answer
go
the U.S. operation. Of course, naturally, when you fly between two countries, you've got passengers from both countries, and in the U.S. You have got many cultures and a lot of types of passengers, starting from Jews, Israelis, American Africans, people, evangelists, Catholics, you name it. Muslims as well, by the way, are flying from the US to Israel and back. You have to remember that Israel itself is a kind of place that there are many people from many countries, even most of them are Jews, but still came from many other
from all around
countries
the world.
from all around the world, came to Israel to live. And if you are looking at our diversity of employees, we have got from any kind, from any land, from any country. We've got people from the Caribbean who are working for us, and we have got, of course, a lot of Americans and a lot of other countries who came to America and come to work with El Al. Basically, we are a multinational, multicultural company, and the diversity of the people who are working for us, of course, help us to see or to build ourselves as a multinational carrier.
Yeah, just a few more words. You ask about the culture. Yeah, the culture of our passengers. I think that we're the only airline in the world that you get to your destination 10 hours before you are there. When you get on Airline in New York, you're already in Israel. Mm-hmm. But you still have to travel another 10, 11 hours to get there. So, because this is the culture of our passengers, this is the culture. By the way, on our airplanes, people feel completely differently, and they behave differently from the way the same people behave on another airline, because they feel it's Israel, and as you know, Israel, it's an open country. Our crew, our employees are like that, so...
Multicultural?
Yeah, I think that once you get to the airport and you meet the security person, you are in Israel. And sometimes you have many hours before you get there. But that's when you are in El Al, you are in Israel.
Does El Al employ Arabs, Druze?
Few of them. In Israel, mainly in Israel.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. We have no problem. We also employ non-Israelis all over the world. El Al has no problem. Israel is an open country, and El Al is El Al culture and Israel culture is the same.
That's right.
And
are all ethnic meal requests accommodated? And
we have our own catering company, both in few places around the world. If you ask on time, when you make the reservation, we'll get you any food you want. Of course, it has to be kosher on our airplane, one way or the other. But you can get different type of foods, depends what you ask. But all our food is kosher.
And for the business traveler, or for the vacationer, would you consider El Al a primary choice for people who are not just going to Israel?
Yeah, we invested a lot of money in new aircraft. And many. I think that we invested last year alone over $300 million in new aircraft and in new seats. We're changing now on all our long hauls aircraft. We have new seats for first class, for business class. We have a great entertainment. We have, for example, video on demand. I think we're the best now. And we are proud to be like that.
We are the best choice today for people who are going to Israel from any country that we are flying to, both for the vocationers and for the business people. There is no question about that. I think that we put on all our routes the best product that exists between Israel and abroad.
And how's El Al's security record considered in aviation history?
Good. One word, good. Those kind of things you don't elaborate on. It's not,
But in terms of history, El Al is among the safest airlines in the world, isn't it?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. You talk about security, you speak few words. The less you talk, the better you are.
Well, but for passengers who are, let's say, who are flying through Israel or beyond Israel, isn't safety one of El Al's selling points?
There's two things. They should differentiate between safety and security. They're two different terms.
Okay.
In terms of safety, we're very good. Again, you have to remember that all our engineers and mechanics and everything, they're all coming from the Israeli Air Force also, most of them. So they're coming, when they join the airline, they're coming with a lot of experience. So in terms of safety, I think we have a great record. In terms of security, Israel as a country known for the security, so definitely El Al is part of it.
What motivated you personally? Because I know you had another company, Arkia Airlines.
The domestic, yeah.
Yeah. What was your incentive, your motivation? Obviously, you were successful in business anyway, and you didn't need...
You know what the name of El Al, what does it mean in English? Going up. So I wanted to go up. I think it's only natural that one that runs a small company wants to become bigger, larger. And when the Israeli government decided to privatize El Al, it was clear that if we want to stay in the business, the best thing is to take El Al over. Question of economics, money.
But it seems like the business is more than economics for you.
Well, because we are involved in many fields around the aviation industry. We're involved in leasing. You know, we flew yesterday on MD-80 from Nashville. Might be one of our aircraft. We leased few MD-80 to American Airlines. But you know, the only way you can find out on which aircraft you fly, you have to walk into the cockpit, and on the door it says, who is the owner? So, they won't let me go into the cockpit, right? So, and we leased aircraft to American Airlines, we leased aircraft to Delta, we leased aircraft to Air Canada, and so we are in the leasing business, we are in tourism business, we are in maintenance business. We maintain aircraft for the Israeli Air Force. This is the holding, what I'm talking is the holding company that owns El Al. The holding company is doing all these activities. So we are in the business. So if you're in the business, you want to move up. You want to move El Al. I think that you cannot talk about a specific event. It's something which is a continuous. It's a continuous event, and we've talked already about it. I think the fact that we kept this bridge, what I call this bridge, open all the time, regardless of all kind of external events, this is what something that makes you satisfied in what you're doing. Besides that, the year 2007 was the best year ever for El Al financially. The best year ever in 60 years, yeah. So, I don't know. You know, you're happy. You feel good. You take something as big as El Al, you move ahead, and everybody that can go ahead should be happy. Get up in the morning smiling. It's great.
When people think of El Al, they're typically thinking of people going to Israel. But are only Jews flying to Israel and El Al?
No, not at all. I mean, we serve the general market, the business market, and not the less the Christian market. I think that when someone, I would phrase it in a different way, when someone wants to go to Israel, he thinks first of all about El Al. And that means for everybody, not only for Jews, but for any type of passenger, either for tourism purposes, or for business purposes, or for pilgrimage purposes. And one of the most growing segments in within our passenger is the evangelical traffic of Christians who want to come to Israel. Some of them are doing it for the first time, some of them are doing it many times, and most of them would prefer to do it with us as part of the notion and the experience that they have on our flights. As Izzy said before, when you get on board of El Al, you feel Israel. And those people who have a lot of kind feelings towards Israel would like to sense it and to feel it along the way back and forth Israel. And we are really giving them a very special experience when they come on our board.
Not only this, we were working together with him. And what we've done with them, we were working together with them. What we've done, we formed advisory board that most of the well-known pastors are members of. And by the way, in this NRB we had a meeting. Every time in the NRB we have a meeting of this advisory board. And so we work together and with them, and usually it's an interactive kind of a discussion. We tell them what's new about what we're going to do in the future, and they come with their own suggestions. And I must say that just because of them, we've done a lot of improvements that fit this particular market. When a passenger gets on our aircraft, we don't mark him as type A or type B or type C. All of them are the same, equal for us. We don't really know. We know more of what's happening according to geographical regions rather than what the ethnic background of the people.
Have the Christians surprised you in any way in flying the Christians?
No, they're very nice passengers. They're very quiet and honestly, they're good. They don't complain. Right. Maybe they're more polite. Well, they're not Israelis. And so.
Do they bring a special joy when they fly? Because for them it's probably only once in a lifetime that they'll go.
You know that very often, if I know ahead of time, I myself come to meet them.
You meet them, you welcome them when they land?
Yeah, some of the delegations, especially when they come with the pastors, that's part of our advisory board. I mean, that's this is the minimum I can do is meet them because they're really helping us a lot.
And when they leave, after you've brought them to Israel, do you feel like they have a changed experience?
Well, they don't need me. Israel does it to them, right? So the country of Israel does it to them. I mean,
but the answer is positive.
Yeah, the answer is positive. But what are we with respect to all the history of Israel? Or, they go to the old Jerusalem and they go to Nazareth and to the Kinneret, Lake of Galilee. We're very little. So I mean, I hope and I'm sure that those things live much more on them than. But like somebody said it that when you go to Israel, you are not the same. Okay, it's sure that Israel, but that's Israel. El Al is part of Israel.
They from the testimonials that we have from pastors and Christian leaders, there is none of them who wouldn't say that coming to Israel the first time, and some of them for many times, has a very special effect on him or her and their life and the way they look at the world. And of course, for our sake, above all, the way they look at Israel and the Israelis. But you know that when you see a lot of the news about Israel, people who do not know Israel, who haven't been in Israel, tend to develop a certain kind of view about Israel. When people come to Israel, they change their view completely.
Have you heard that?
Yeah, from all of them.
Yes, yeah.
Many people?
Not many, everybody. I mean, everybody who have been in Israel, you'll always hear the same thing. Israel changed them in more than one way.
What do you think people experience when they go to Israel that's different from what their perceptions or expectations of Israel were?
Oh, it's very simple. We live in a world that the television and the news media are really controlling the world. Now, if CNN shows them all the time the bad things of what I call of Israel, and then suddenly they come and say that Israel is completely different, you know. But your eyes, when you sit at home anywhere in the world except Israel, the eyes is not yours. The television is yours. The media is your eyes. But when you come to Israel and you see a beautiful country, very nice and polite people, understanding, they welcome foreigners, they speak the language. Everybody is afraid, but in Israel almost everybody speaks English and some other and some European languages and everything. So you come to Israel and suddenly you see that, you know, all this what you show you on TV, especially those guys from CNN. It's a different place. So, but when they come back, there's no way you can take it from them anymore. They don't believe in them. When they see and they watch news, they look at it completely differently because they know from their past experience that what they've seen before, it's not the truth. So, or it's not the real situation rather. And so this is the story. But you know, there's a saying in Hebrew, I don't know if in other languages, that a picture is better than 2,000 words, right?
2,000?
20,000 if you want. 5 million, I don't know, but yeah. I'm very conservative.
When people come back, what do you think they're? What are they telling other potential tourists about Israel? Do you think people are encouraging other?
Very short sentence. You must go to Israel. You know, like to say, if you stand for Israel, you have to stand in Israel. Right? I learned something the last time.
Basically, from what I've heard, they are not only encouraging their friends and relatives to come to Israel, they start preaching to do that. It's much more enthusiastic than just answering questions.
Correct.
Everybody who comes back from Israel, especially people who haven't been there before and come, as you say, once in their lifetime, but many of them would start preaching for their friends or to the friends and family to take their luggage and come to Israel because this is a life-changing experience. And they are so enthusiastic about it that it is our best marketing and sales team. Just the passengers that came to Israel came back with all this very deep experience and all the new things that they've never dreamed that they'll be able to see and to experience. They are our best advocates.
What does that do for Hasbara, in your opinion?
Oh,
in general,
it has everything to do with Hasbara. As Izzy said before, when you see Israel in your own eyes, you wouldn't believe again to a lot of misinformation that many agencies or travel news agencies and other people who really want to oppose or to antagonize Israel try to spread around. They would be our best advocates in any event, in any aspect of Israel life.
Israel is a beautiful country. The people are beautiful. The food is great. The beaches are great. The location, the sightseeing, everything is great. You come and you see that. And you know, again, nowadays everybody has like 5 cameras. They go, you know, they take pictures, they show it to the family, they show it to the neighbors. But they see it first hand, you know. They don't see it through the eyes of somebody that cooking something. They show they see the real things. And this real thing, that's what they transfer to the people, to their colleagues, to their neighbors and everything. And so the more people come, the more people love Israel. So we'd like everybody to come to Israel on El Al.
and see for themselves.
And see for themselves, of course.
Even if only once in their lives.
Even once for their life. But you know, I'm not afraid. That's what I usually said. It says, come only once. But what really happened, when they come once, then they come twice and 3 times and so on. So we're very polite to say, just come once, you know. Let's start little. But it becomes big.